What's going on, everybody? Welcome to John Graves Kayak Fishing. We got absolutely swamped about an hour ago. The rain came in, it just came out of nowhere. Oh my God. And boy, did I get wet. I absolutely did. Luckily, had some clothes, change of clothes. Was able to get into those, warm up a little bit, warm up that coffee. I heard the rain. I was like, where is that coming from? I couldn't tell. It's been kind of a weird weather morning here in Florida. But you do have to be prepared for everything. What's going on? Hope everybody's doing really well today. We're just going to do a number of things today. We're going to quickly go through all different lures. I'll give each and every one of them, 10 or 15 opportunities with good casts to get out there and produce something. Right now we're using a big gambler. It's a big heavy lure, probably using a little undersized underbelly weighted hook. I could probably use a little bit bigger hook, like a 5/0 or even a 6/0, even a 7/0 on this pretty good size soft plastic. But it'll be fun if we bring something on board. And you can really get a good cast. So if you're down here in Central Florida, if you're coming down here to Central Florida to fish one of the really cool Bass Nation Kayak Tournament Series, whether it's the Florida Bass Nation or the National Bass Nation, Bass Anglers Sportsman Society Kayak Tournament Series. And I know Kissimmee Chain of Lakes will be, I think, the very first stop for the National Tournament Series. And the Florida Bass Nation has already got underway with Ted McKay, like November 1st. They were out at, I think, the Harris Chain of Lakes. But they have a north region and a south region. And flipping and pitch and stick, a good flipping and pitch and stick is something that you definitely want to have on board with you down here. Technique that I'm using, this is basically a Florida swim bait here. This is a worm that has a vibe tail or a speed tail on it. Fat one too. It's a gambler. You can see that one right there. Hope everybody's doing really well today. And man, even though this is a flipping and pitching stick and it feels like a tobacco stick in your hand, I give this to some my northern buddies who come down here and do some fishing. I put this heavy rod in their hand. They're like, oh my God. But you learn pretty quick down here after getting burnt a number of times by these 5, 6, 7, 8 pound plus bass in this vegetation that when they come up and commit, you better have something on board with you that's able to turn those heads, keeping those big fish pinned, because they'll work you up around all kinds of structures, cypress trees, these leather-like stems from lily pads. We're going to give you a few more opportunities here, Mr. Gambler. I just pulled out a whole bunch of stuff from the garage, and it gives me opportunity to try out some new stuff. Sometimes you get new lures, and you buy them and you try them, and nothing really happens over the course of a few casts, and boom, you put them away and they sit away forever. Well, maybe it just wasn't their day, So I'll grab a handful of them. I won't try that on a tournament day, though. On tournament days, I actually don't bring a whole lot of stuff. I stick to two or three techniques that work for me, and I work them until they catch fish. Bounce around too much on a tournament. So we're gonna switch down. A little something small, this last chance for romance there, Mr. Gambler. Boy, you can tell when a tackle shop has really stocked up on the gamblers. If you're located or near Central Florida, or if you're traveling into Central Florida and you really want to check out an amazing showroom, you want to stop by Mudhole Custom Tackle, which is in Oviedo, Florida. Come in there and stop in there on a Monday through Friday, and you're liable to see me there. I'll give you the nickel dime tour of the place. You'll love it. I guarantee it. And if you happen to be in town this weekend, coming weekend, not this weekend, but the next weekend, we are having a big block party. And some fishing pros are going to be there, like Terry Scroggins, Big Show Terry. What do we got there? No. And a number of local captains. We're going to have vendors, Z-Man, baits, reels, a lot of, NLBN. Oh my gosh, that's like a cult. Ooh, what was that? Right there. I just saw a big back come out of this, the water up there. Let me run this over there a couple more times. Could have been otter. Sometimes you'll see an otter come up, and we got otters here in Florida. They're kind of jacked. I mean, they'll come up and go, bah. Hope everybody's doing good, man. Yeah, sure, no, man. As of right now, I'm not catching nothing. I'm always hoping to catch some of that trophy bass, but I'm also rigged up to do some crappie fishing here today. So I'm just out playing. Change of the season, the fish are starting to change and feel some change, so their appetite's changing up a little bit. This gives me the opportunity to, on a early Monday morning, to come out. Oh, here we go. I need this one. Oh my God. I need the net for that one. Some fish you just don't want to jack around. Nice. Nice. Let me see, we're gonna... hold on there, buddy. I'm sorry. Let me get you around here. Nice bass, nice bass. Definitely a scoreable bass if we were in a tournament day. Boy, I don't know how I had you pinned, brother. Look at that. No, I didn't even have him pinned. This thing was simply holding on to this lure. Wow. So yeah, there you go. Appreciate it there, cowboy. Thanks for joining up. Those lips are looking a little red. You getting ready to do some spawn? What you doing, huh? Love you, man. There you go. Let them go, let them grow. So that worked, but in the world, I don't know how that worked. So I think just as soon as I was getting ready to say we're out here fishing for some bass, that happened. So bass is definitely one thing that we want to catch today. That's what Florida's all about, that F1 Florida strain bass. So I'm going to give Mr. Gambler a few more opportunities. We're just pulling this, real slow up over these lily pads. And this Mod Fast tip that I have on this FP 885 flipping and pitching stick allows me the opportunity just to simply get a bullet long cast. I mean, that was without even really trying. You know, that's a 35-yard cast, if not 40 yards. And I get, look, that's all I'm doing here. So the Mod Fast tip is slowly pulling that gambler worm up over those lily pads. And all I'm doing is waking the beast, knocking on heaven's door there, man. They're up underneath those lily pads and they're chilling. And they're an ambush predator. So you're just playing the part of an unsuspecting snake, frog, fish, something. They don't care. Up on the up on the rooftop. Click, click, click. They don't care what's up there. Raccoons or reindeers, man. As soon as that lure drops up off over the other side of those lily pads, it's game on. And the key is to have enough oomph in the rod itself to be able to pull them out of those lily pads, because they'll fight back, especially if you got an 8+ pound bass on there. It's a challenge. You usually have to go to them when you're on a kayak, and when you're on the inflatable like this, it's easy to do. We got some really cool rod builds that we're going to be working on later on tonight, and I'll be coming back on doing some live on that if you guys are into some rod building. I sent up to Indiana to an angler up there, a shallow, or actually a crankbait rod, deeper diving crankbait rod, made out of a Phoenix glass blank. And I absolutely love using glass when it comes to a crankbait. You have a lipless crankbait that has 1 or 2 bearings in it. With a glass rod, you can count how many bearings are in that lipless crankbait. I love the feeling. And then if I'm using a Topwater mechanical like a Devil's Horse, I'll also use an all glass blank. So I have an all glass blank dedicated to nothing but a Devil's Horse lure, which is a very, very fun lure to use here in Florida. Okay, buddy, I'm going to give you a couple more whacks at it because you were the first to bring us up a scoreable bass. And again, if we were in a tournament right now, we'd be on the board with at least a 17. There's something came up on it right there. There's another little grab at it, which is enough to give you a couple more. This is how I'll take my lures. If a lure's not producing nothing within 20 times of casting it, then you're just wasting your time. You're wasting the lure's time. Doesn't mean the lure's a bad lure. It just means at that moment, these very finicky bass are some of the most challenging fish to catch, because one moment they want it green, next moment they want it black and blue, they want it white, they want it black, they want it 2 inches, they want it 6 inches. They want a topwater, they want something that's down and slow, they want something that's being burnt back fast. You just never know with bass. Okay. How many more times? Should we say a couple more times? I think we should say a couple more times. Oh my God. I gotta get up close to see that. Yes. I'm whole predator. There we go. Let's do it. A couple more times. We'll be rock and roll ready. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's a beautiful morning here in Florida. Man, weather's nice, really calming down. It's not this beating heat. You know, today's gonna be a really pretty day. So we should be in the maybe the low 80s today. Let me get one more cast. That wasn't worth a damn. I get a little target area over there. I wanted. There's a little spot over here though that's looking pretty juicy. We may have some more rain coming down on us. We got soaked about an hour ago. We absolutely got drenched. I just heard this wall of water and I was like, no. And that water temperature was about 15 degrees colder. Oh my God. It was torture. By the time I got back to land, I was soaked to the bone. And then of course it stopped. But the damage is already done, so back on land, got a change of clothes. Always bring a change of clothes with you here. You just never know. Okay, buddy, a couple more times with you. We're gonna go look for some crappie. And again, I'm just simply pulling this. I have it on a 15-pound braid. Little backhand cast there into my target area. You know, if you have a target, you don't want to bomb your exact target. I always think of looking at everything like it's got a whole spot around it. Because obviously you don't want to bomb them. So I'll just cast about 5, 6, 7 feet beyond my target area and then bring the lure through it and work it as I pull through there, you know, pop it a little bit maybe, or just burn it right across the surface. Sometimes you know, if you have a good target, like I'm looking at a stump up here, it's got grass around it, lily pads, perfect little hideout for the James gang of bass fish. And boom, I'm just gonna run it through there a few times to see if there's any takers. I'll burn it. I'll flip it, I'll pause it. Nice thing having a rod like this is you are able to pull that lure through those lily pad butt cracks, you know. And a lot of people do not. I didn't like fishing lily pads until I came down here and discovered this fishing rod. You know, because I never liked using those big, thick tobacco stick heavy rods up in the Midwest. They didn't feel right to me, but I was just uneducated when it came to what's available out there. Usually with rods like that, they're very durable and you can pull a truck out of the mud, but the ones that I had in my hand were just never really sensitive and they didn't just feel right, so I just never used them, and therefore I never got into this real heavy vegetation up in Cincinnati and Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee is where I did a lot of my fishing. Along the old KBF and I-75 trail. Big shout out to the Cincinnati Kayak Fishing. Sponsored by Strictly Sail and Kayak. They've been there since 1978. What were you doing in 1978? Let's switch to something else here real quick. We're gonna do this one more time. One more cast, gotta have one more cast. Everything's been good. The gambler's well behaved. It's still in pretty good shape. It's not chewed up. I can bring it in and reuse that baby. Sometimes you have to touch up these soft plastics, you know, if you just don't, but I'd get that Spike It Fix-A-Lure. I love it, works great, doesn't stick to your hands like super glue. Right there, that's what we're using. What's going on? Can dogs smile? Absolutely. Add a question, sticker. They want me to add a question sticker. Can dogs smile? Do you think dogs can smile? I think they absolutely can. Awesome. Awesome. 1 second. Let's see what you guys are at. I like to swim. Yeah, buddy, you're talking. Good luck. Thank you. Finding joy on this journey. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Every cast I make is a prayer, and every catch I have is a ceremony. Let's see if I just grabbed a whole bunch of goodies in the bag here and see something that might work. I'm going to put this guy back into Gambler Go Fish right here. This is the burner worm, 7-inch burner worm. Again, it worked out great. Put his one on the board with us. Let's try this has always been a good one. American Tackle with the black and blue flake. We're going to shorten it up a little bit. Keep it on this. It's a 1/8 ounce Gamakatsu underbelly weighted hook here. I'm going to bring this spring or load. Sometimes it's just best if you take these spring loads off. There you go. I'm going to take that off, and that way I can. Look at this, man. This is what happens. There we go. We are in Florida, which means thanks for the thumbs up. Appreciate that, man. We are in Wyatt. Wyatt, please. How are you? Hope everything's really doing good. That's awesome. The burn, again, these are just some that I don't use a whole lot, but you know, I grabbed them up and I said, let's see what happens. This is sort of like a, let's go out to the park and practice day. That's what this is. I'm gonna go ahead and load this up on that spring, and then I'm tied directly to braid too, so if something happens, we're gonna have a ride. Bring that hook back, see where that hook bends. That's where I'm gonna put the point in, stick it all the way through, bounce it out the other side, and then pin it. Boom, right there. Pin it to win it, baby. Pin it to win it. Let's see what happens. Let's just start tossing it around some of these target areas here. Sometimes he's just shorter, black and blue, Cincos, speed, finesse worms. Things like this just do real well. They imitate eels really well. And again, a lot of times we're just creating that, reaction strike. Here comes the rain again. Here comes the rain again. I looked at the radar, it looked like we were pretty good. Didn't look like pepperoni pizza, that's for sure. Now this one we're just working, it's gonna fall down into, there's not much surface action out of this guy right here. But it's boom, it's diving down up over these lily pads a little bit faster. And we'll see if that kind of action isn't appetizing to these bass. We'll play with this one for another 15 casts or so and see if we can't strike something up. This is another one that's, you can easily jig around, some of these areas here. You can do the old strip and flip. I can strip line back a little bit and flip it right into bring that up a little bit more. I'm stripping that line back. I'm just simply flipping it. And I'm telling you, you want to have a hold of this bad boy right here, because when it happens, if they take it, it's got to be, it get jerk right out of your hand. Let's try this for a little bit. Let's just sit around, flip. A bit more line. This is a 7-foot rod. It actually comes in a 7'4", which next time I put one of these together, this is my third one that I've built. Next time I put one of these together, I'm definitely going to keep it a 7'4", because I'm getting more used to using a longer rod. You know, you hear a lot of kayak anglers going, "Oh man, I can't, you know, we don't like using the long rods." I think we get that mixed up with the long rear butts. And yes, I agree, you don't need a big long rear butt back here, but having a length at the tip of your rod is a good thing. You know, you're able to really get up there and precision flip into some of these tighter areas, and you know, you're able to do that with finesse and stealthiness that a lot of other watercraft just can't do. Around a few more times. See if, just never know. Here in Florida, you have the potential, no doubt, catching the biggest bass of your life. It's one of the top 3, I think, bass states. California, maybe being the #1. Texas, arguably there with Florida. Here comes that rain again. We're out here actually to do a little crappie fishing, because the crappie bite has just absolutely been on fire. Yeah, thanks, man. I hope to catch some slabs. My dogs are hungry. It's feed the dogs and save the hogs campaign we got going on right now. Here, I'm going to give this guy just a few more casts, and then we'll switch over to some crappie here. Hopefully, if the rain stays like this, it ain't bad. We can do it. It's cold. It's about 10 degrees colder than it is. It's like, woo! It is cold. About an hour ago, it came down so hard, it was literally like stepping into a shower. Somebody just turned it off the hot water. Oh my God, it was rough. Okay, a couple more casts, and then we're gonna try some slabbies. I miss Tennessee so bad. I really do. I love Tennessee. Probably, I have to say, arguably one of my favorite states to go fishing in. Lake Chickamauga. I feel like that is my stomping ground. I'm not from there. We have grandchildren that live in the Cleveland, Tennessee area. And the Strother gang, big shout out to the Strother gang. And that's very close to Lake Chickamauga. Here we go, last cast for romance there. Big guy. We love you. You've always produced for me. Today's just not your day. Okay, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. And it could be the way that I'm, fishing this lure. Doesn't have to necessarily be the lure itself. It could be just the way that I'm fishing it. Someone could absolutely come out here and smoke up something with a black and blue Senko like that. Others couldn't find fish with a search warrant with one of them.
Let's see, have we got anything else that we can drop a bomb on? No.
We can try a smaller swim bait. Let's do that. Let's go to a smaller swim bait before we give up on the bass. I'm gonna switch over to my Dewey baits. Do we like them? Dewey, yes we do. Do we catch them? Yes we do with Dewey. Let's go with the peanut butter. Peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter, peanut butter, peanut butter, peanut butter, peanut butter jelly, and a baseball bat. And again, we're just taking the screw lock. We're going to push it right into the nose of this swim bait. The Deweys are very durable swim baits. They have a very deep contrast between the peanut butter and jelly, so I really like that in the lure. Let's just burn it through here a few times and see what happens. And this is a very weedless type setup too. Let's see what's happening. Hope everybody's doing really good today. Here comes the rain. What's on, man? Hope everybody's doing good. Stripes, San Francisco stripers. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. That California fishing, man, that's some big stuff. You can't, you know, there is definitely a difference between California fishing and Florida fishing. You can't necessarily do the same in both waters. But wow, the stripers, big ones, I bet. I hope you get on some good ones. Yes, I love the Cumberland River. That's for sure. I love San Francisco, really do. It's really the most European American city, I think. You know, if you don't want to travel to Europe, just go to San Francisco, and that'll give you a taste of what it's like. You can get lost in Chinatown. You don't want to go to the Orient. Don't want to travel, you know, for 3 days to get to that place. Just fly to San Francisco and walk through Chinatown. So the Dewey baits, this is like a 3-inch swim bait. And that's all I'm doing is slowly bringing this through the water line. That paddle tail's doing everything that paddle tail needs to do. This is a great technique to use an inshore for reds, speckled trout, snook, tarpon. And you don't even have to take it off the rod. You can come in the next day here in a freshwater setup and go bass fishing. That rain is continuing to come down. And I'm going to continue to sit on my towel so it doesn't get wet, because I have a feeling this is big rain coming up behind us. We're going to feel it. Here it comes. Here it comes, big rain. It's cold. It is cold. Now this will give you a totally different, you know, type of setup for fishing, because no longer are these fish necessarily working off of a disruption on the water surface, because it's raining like cats and dogs right now. So the water surface is just getting blasted. So it's not like you have a calm, water surface and you're bringing a swim bait over the top of it and you're seeing that. But that's not happening right now. Right, it's coming down. I'll put that on for whatever it's worth. Switch this over to this leg. Let's work the Mr. Crappie. We'll head back. We got probably a mile to go, but maybe not that far. We didn't get too far away, actually. We had came out. I'm glad it's not lightning. If this was lightning, I wouldn't even have this in my hand, but it's probably still kind of somewhat dangerous to have it in my hand. This is the Mr. Crappie 9-foot Thunder. Oh, I may be jinxing myself with that. This is a crappie, sort of like a stripping and flipping jigging rod. I really love using it. The moment it came into the shop, I was like, oh, I gotta have one of those. And I love Wally Marshall. He's like the Ron Popeil of fishing, So all I'm doing is stripping that line back and again flipping it, much like I was with the FP flipping and pitching stick. And really dissecting these lily pads. I could use a little Bimini right now. Now water starts to run down your back. That feels comfortable into your underwear. That feels good. All I'm doing is just jigging up and down, around these balls of these lily pads. Letting it sink. Stripped out about 9 foot of line, you can tell. So I got 9-foot rod here. Actually about, let's say about almost 10 foot of line that I have stripped out. So I can reach out there beyond the 9-foot rod I have and another 10 foot. So I can get out there a good 20 feet with my flip. And I'm able to cover all of that area. I'll just pop that 6-cent jig head. That might be that feels like a lily pad stem there, but you never can tell. So I'm going to keep it pinned as much as I can. Yeah, that's a lily pad stem. With such a long rod, you feel that little pop. You're like, okay, what is that? And bass will absolutely destroy this thing too. So, but with this 10-pound mono and this rod here, you're not going to be fighting any Florida bass out of here. Hopefully, the best you can do is keep it pinned and get to it. But I'll be trying a longer approach to some of my bass fishing out of the kayak with a much longer rod and doing this technique here. And you can just cover and dissect so much ground, so much faster, so much more efficiently. Wow, that rain is, there we go, there we go. Oh, shoot. Let's turn back around. That was a nice one. Whatever that was nice. Let's make another approach on that. There we go. And we're using the 6 cents Divine Swim Bait. Okay. Right there, guys. Love it. There we let's try that again. Whatever that was, loved it. Loved it. We need that bite to turn on right now to keep us motivated to be out here. There's some big crappie in this lake, that's for sure. This is a very low pressured body of water here, representative of hundreds and hundreds of other type of retention bodies of water here in Central Florida. They're all over the place. And very low pressured when it comes to fishing. Oh, that water's cold. Wow. Big drops too. Holy spagnoly. Now, bluebird sky days aren't necessarily the best days to go fishing either. So it is good that we have some overcast. There's a little something. Come on. Make sure that grass is not, these fish aren't eating anything that got grass. They don't like grass in their meal either. Come here. So I got a 10-pound monofilament line on here. And I need that to really get this thing back. If it gets stuck in these lily pads, I'm allowed to twist out. The line will get spinned out a little bit. And this is going to feel comfortable if it stops all of a sudden. We'll just keep working our way around this lily pad here, but we're not in really deep territory here. Hope everybody's doing good today, man. Nah, not gonna. Nah, this is fun. I don't mind it at all. I went in earlier, absolutely got soaked. And this is mild to how it was earlier. I could go in and start, head back and get back to the compound and start working on some fishing rods. But sometimes you have to go through some things like this. Say if, just sort of keep yourself kind of in tune to what can happen out here. If I was in a tournament today and it started raining and I wasn't prepped for it, I'd start getting a bad attitude and kind of get pissed off, and that will affect your fishing. So this is much like training, just getting out here in the elements, and as long as it's not lightning, I'm good. Now that it's calmed down a little bit, it feels awesome. I never was much of an inside person, to be honest with you, despite what kind of elements are happening outside. Wind, hail, rain, sleet, snow. I'm always outside. Got something there? What's that? I think that is a lily pad stem. Take that up. Usually you can get hold of that line and kind of, there we go. Again, we're using the 6 cents swim bait right there, and that's a divine swim bait. This thing right here, it does look like a little 3-weight rod, doesn't it? This is actually just a jigging stick is all it is. It's a 9-foot 2-piece. It probably could be maybe a 2-weight, I think, if you had a fishing rod. It doesn't have, it's very much like a fly rod. It's gotta be something. Come on, we can do it. We can do it. Let's head over to a little deeper part of the water. Boom, 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 boom. That's the Mr. Crappie Thunder Rod, is what that is. Yeah, if you're into fly fishing, which I assume you are, you could probably do the same thing with this crappie rod. Now, I've never done really a whole lot of crappie fishing, but I'm just a bass angler from Cincinnati. What do I know, right? So I moved down here, and the first thing that I noticed that there was out on the St. Johns River, there was some guys out on, oh boy, that's chilly. Get a little breeze going. I'll dry out pretty quick though. These guys on these flatboats had these like 11, 12, 13-foot jigging poles, and they were just stopped and dipping them in and out of these holes and catching crappie. I thought that was pretty cool. Many moons later, as a rod builder, I'm hearing more rod builders are putting together these long crappie rods, inline lines, you know, lines that run through the blank itself and come right out at the tip. Some pretty cool, innovative stuff when it comes to crappie fishing, but it's simply just reaching out and touching somebody, you know, having a long pole to do that and just jigging it up and down. So, you know, and to build a pole like that, you're at least looking, even using a fly rod type thing. Fly rod blanks don't necessarily have to be expensive, even though they're fly rod material building things. Usually you're gonna pay a lot more for anything that has to do with fly rod fishing or fly fishing. Same material, so often used a lot less material, but for some reason the prices are just jacked up. So if you really want to make some money making fishing rods, go into fly rod fishing. But you can just take a real basic, you know, fly rod blank and build something like this and effectively be able to go out and catch these crappie and even bass for you. And you probably know how much fun it is to catch bass with a fly rod. So we're gonna head over to a little bit deeper hole. That's where we're gonna hang out for a few minutes. So if you guys want to hang out, I appreciate it. I'm not sponsored by Folgers, but I probably should be. I do want to thank Strictly Sail and Kayak, located in Blue Ash, Ohio. Strictly Sail and Kayak. They've been there since 1978. What were you doing in 1978? I was 1978. I was 15 years old. I was in. I first. What do we got? What do we got that can go see if we could do something with this thing right here. This will be hilarious. I'm gonna strip out long line. Watching that fin come up. I was in Plum City, Wisconsin when I was 15. My parents sent me up there because I just kept getting in trouble. A lot of trouble. I got more trouble in Plum City. They will sell beer flat out to 15-year-olds. Plum City, Wisconsin. Oh no, don't tell me. Wow, that was a big fish right there. And you got to be careful. You have to play them soft when you have a setup like this and you hook up with one of these big bass. And you'll know it. You'll know it's a bass too. Some of these crappie can fight pretty good, but they tend not to understand what's happening until they see sunlight. Then they fight pretty good along the surface, but under the water they're just kind of, well, what's happening? And you're not really horsing them in like you do with bass either. You know, you're just kind of lifting them up gently with the rod tip. That's awesome. I wish you luck, man. Florida permit, right? Yeah, that's one species of fish I have not caught yet. Amongst many, to be honest with you. There's so many species of fish down here. And we haven't visited the Keys yet since we've been here to Florida. There's just so many things to do. Central Florida is just packed with all kinds of fun stuff. I mean, if you're a foodie, oh my God, if you're a foodie here in Florida, you don't have to drive far. And of course, if you're into the outdoors, you don't have to drive far at all. You can ride your bicycle down the street and go catch ditch pickles, is what they call bass down here in Florida. Really surprised that when I came down here from Cincinnati, you know, when we have a kayak bass fishing tournament in Cincinnati, we have 50, 60, 70, 80 people sometimes in a tournament. Here in Florida, you're lucky if you can scratch 15 people show up. Just do not have a lot of tournaments, and that really surprised me. I thought, why, of all places? California, Texas, Florida, this is like one of the third most popular bass fishing states, and you can only get 15, 20 people to show up for a bass fishing tournament on a kayak. Well, the reason most people that live here in Florida have already caught that 10-pound ditch pickle by the time they got out of elementary school. They'll show you pictures when they were 12, holding 12-pounders. Caught this off my grandma's dock, no big deal. And they're out catching tasty fish, you know, bigger fish, like permit, going down to the Keys and catching those. That's what they do now here in Florida. So I think a lot of your kayak bass fishermen down here are retired and probably from another state, much like me, and who can really appreciate catching Florida strained bass, you know. You don't have the opportunity back home in Cincinnati. We catch a 4-pound bass. We're talking about it for a long time. We're showing pictures of 4-pound bass back home. Look at that gut. Just got done eating a bunch of stuff too. It was a big one. It was a tank. We call them donkeys. Yeah. There's not many 5-pound plus bass in Cincinnati. A lot of good crappie fishing. A lot of good catfish, a lot of striper, river stripe fish, striped bass, a lot of panfish type fishing. Well, of course there is bluegill, our main bass, but the Midwest is not known to be a angler's paradise. There's some different types of fishing I would do when I got home. I would probably be doing a lot more of this than I ever was. I would be in the lily pads a lot more, definitely, especially during the heat of the summer. If there wasn't a lot of shade around, boy, these fish, they get up underneath these lily pads, the only place they can be. And the green ones hold water, so they're cooler. You want to get up during the heat of the summer. You don't want to be up underneath those rotten lily pads because they just don't have they just don't bounce that heat off because they don't have any water in them. They actually hold heat. Now, just the opposite. In the morning, that sun's coming up, those bass will get up underneath those really dry, dead lily pads because they absorb heat faster. Here come that rain again. I hear the arrhythmics in my head. Coming down like whatever, memories, is that how it goes? Again, as long as we don't have any type of lightning happening, we're good. Did you know when Ben Franklin held up the kite that had the key on the string to conduct his little electricity experiment, he wasn't actually holding that kite. His son William was holding the kite. Yeah, think about it. Here, son, this might go crazy. It might get hot. Hold this while I smoke my pipe and watch you just get blasted. Good thing he didn't have a carbon fishing rod. So our 6th Sense swim bait right now, it's not really producing a whole lot. We may just have to get back to the vehicle and regroup. Let this weather pattern get over top of us. This will probably be intermittent all day, so there's not much you can really do about it. I hope everybody's doing really well today. I love fishing too, my friend. I really do. If you like rod building, do a lot of rod building, hang out, join up with John Graves kayak fishing. We'd be much better if we went back to the house, got back in the vehicle, get back to the homestead, and go work on some rods. But since we got about a quarter of a mile now to go, I'm going to work the rest of these lily pads. See if we can't pull a couple crappie out of here on our way back. Again, using the Mr. Crappie Thunder. It's like 49 bucks, folks. 50 bucks for fun. I'm telling you, I love this rod. I didn't make it. I think I was talking about the rod build. You know, with an inexpensive fly rod, you know, you're still going to have, you know, well over 50 bucks in this thing to build it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Well over 50 bucks in this. Yeah. Oh man, nice one. Nice one. Nice one. Nice one. Boom. There we go. That's a motivator. Right there. Love it. Boom. Perfect size too. Feed the dog, save the hog. So one of the better tasting freshwater fish. You're gonna get right in there, buddy. Crisco Bay. We may have hit that time where they are starting to fire up. Let's see what happens. We'll stay right here. Now it's just calm. Calm. Love it. was a nice one. Fought pretty good. So for every 3 ounces of crappie, you have about 30 grams of protein. They are just really protein and rich fish, real light, flaky, white meat. And this is why I switched to a 10-pound line, but you are at risk of losing these jig heads. And that's part of the price you pay. Oh, yep, I think we're gonna, when they start cutting into your line there, your hand, that's when you gotta go in deep. You gotta go in deep, friends. There we go, come here. Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. Now, keep in mind there's alligators here in Florida too. Hope everybody's doing good today. Rain pause, right? And this often will curl, stretch up your line too, so you usually have to have a little retie if I can't get the actual, I can't see it, I need to see it before I reach in for it, because I don't want to reach in blindly here in Florida. I think I see it. Through there. Still wrapped around something, aren't we? Keep that camera rolling, man. If a big old gator comes up out of here, keep that camera rolling. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and retie. I'm gonna cut this off. Since I'm fighting with it, usually when you start fighting with stuff like that, that's when you run into trouble. So we won't do that. We'll just pause for a station identification. This is what I'm using right there, Divine swim bait with a Divine jig head, or a 6 cents jig head. And it's still in pretty good shape. Okay, see that right there? Using a 10-pound monofilament. Come here. And what's nice about this long rod here is that it is relatively light, which makes it nice and easy to use in a situation like this. What happened to our lure? Okay, where'd you go, buddy? And because we are on an inflatable, we do want to be relatively careful as to where we step. There you are. There you are. Gotcha. Because that is how you actually will puncture an inflatable, is by stepping on on something sharp and forcing it into it. You're not gonna drag a hook across this inflatable and get it, and puncture it. Let's take out a lot of line. Let's get rid of all this stressed line right here. It's all curly queued up and stretched out. Don't like that. Let's go ahead and we're gonna pull it out and retie. Come on. Pull it out, pull it out, pull it out. Keep pulling. Keep pulling. Keep pulling. There we go. And let's take out a lot of this. That's pretty good. About where it starts to really stretch out and get all curly. Jesus, getting all over the place. Holy smacks. That's how curly, how messed up it is. Look at that, it's just janked up. And that's from stretching it out and really trying to pull on it to get it out of the pig. Oh. Let's see, let's take it out some more. This has really got some stress on it there. Up to about right there. Bring her down. Helps when you can see better too. Now it's just absolutely beautiful out. I love it. This is just this is my type of weather right here. Wind is calm. We have clouds in the sky. Water is calm. Fish are active right now. Okay, so let's secure all this line right here, folks. Line that I took off and threw. I'm gonna discard. I'm gonna put this in the back. I don't want to throw this down into water. Too many wonderful little creatures out there that can get caught up on that stuff, and we don't want that. Whoa. I'm not sure what that was. Something. Something came up there. Life is good here in Florida. That's for sure. A lot of people moving here every day. Can't say I blame them. Weather's wonderful, especially if you're into sports, water sports, that kind of stuff. Fishing, obviously. It's the fishing capital of the world. I think there's plenty of work to be done here, or to be had. You can find work if you want to. I make a little fun money repairing rods. Let's get back to business, shall we? Hope everybody's doing good, man. Biggest fish, tiger, lions. How are you, man? Biggest fish that I have ever caught was a catfish, which was 30 plus pounds. However, biggest bass I ever caught was 9 pounds, 3 ounces. And I caught that the same day I caught a 8-pound, 3-ounce bass, which was about 40 minutes prior to the bigger one. And it was one of the greatest bass fishing days of my life. And ironically, it was in this body of water too, which is what keeps me coming back here alive. But the biggest bass I've ever had was not a double digit, but it was a 9-pound, 3-pound bass. And I was super happy with that. Now, when it comes to crappie, I've caught crappie in here that are, you know, probably 16 inches, pound and a half maybe 2 pounds, if that. But boy, there's some big fish here in Florida. They have a trophy catch. Yeah, trophy catch here in Florida, which is really cool. And all you need is a working scale, weigh scale. It doesn't matter if it's an expensive one or cheap one. You can buy a Bubba for $100, or you can buy a little spring-loaded one for $9. But you have to have that scale. And when you catch that 8+ pound bass, which they consider a trophy bass here in Florida, you take a picture of you holding that scale with the bass on it, and you send that into Trophy Catch Florida, my Trophy Catch, and you are eligible for a Phoenix bass boat. Whoa, 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 what was that? what's going on here? I think we're on a stem, lily pad stem that's acting much like a, yeah, isn't that funny? That thing rip drag. It's funny when the rod kind of kicks up a little bit, it'll spit out some drag. Tighten my drag down a little bit. That was pitiful. That was funny. And the way that it moves and stuff, it feels like you got a fish on there, so you never can tell. It's a somewhat sensitive rod, and it's well worth the 50 bucks that you spend on it. But you know, it's not the most sensitive rod, that's for sure. So we're just gonna work our way around. It's a 9-foot rod. I got 9 foot of line stripped out. I'm gonna, every pull is about 6 inches. So there's another foot. And then I'm gonna strip that line back and just sit here and strip flip it. The old strip and flip, the old Trevor Fitzgerald fishing strip and flip. Not 1, not 2, not 3 time, but 3 time flip off champion. Trevor Fitzgerald using that technique. It's a cool technique because you're not wearing out the reel. You're not tearing, you know, wearing yourself out. You're not wasting any time at all. You're able to, even in a seated position in a kayak, you're able to flip out. Do that. I have caught a couple fish today. Yeah, I caught a couple bass earlier. Then the rain just smashed us. We got some funny video of that. It was so freaking cold. The rain was about 15 degrees colder than the temperature, and it was just, it's making me shiver think about it. I'm wet now from the last one, but at least the wind's calm. And that rain wasn't as cold. But yeah, we've caught a couple fish. Have not caught any big crappie yet. Are you saying OGs as if, is that sarcasm I'm hearing there? A little sarcasm. That's what the world needs, is more sarcasm. Yep, that's all I've got. How about you? What about you, my friend? What's your biggest fish? I'm waiting. I need to bust that double digit though with the bass. I need to just get that 10-pound bass. I don't do any type of saltwater fishing other than inshore. Well, let me say that. Thinking about inshore, my very first red was actually about a 20, I'd say a 29, 30-inch red, which is pretty good size red. It weighed, I don't know, weighed probably 15 pounds, maybe. And I caught that on a Head & Tiny torpedo. Very unsuspected, 12-pound monofilament on a Head & Tiny torpedo with a medium heavy rod. I had no idea what I was doing. I'll be the first one to admit that I don't have a whole lot of experience when it comes to catching saltwater fish. But what I did discover, that if you're a halfway decent bass angler, you can do pretty damn good on the inshore without even really knowing what you're doing. Just go out there and go bass fishing. Topwater lures, soft plastics, jigging, you know, all of the same type of techniques. Jigging those shrimp, soft plastics along the ground, popping them up over flounder heads. That flounder that's disguised, just like the carpet it's laying on. Come on, we need to get us something here. We need to get us something. We're gonna get it. How quickly now we could get swim bait out and probably do pretty good with a swim bait and a bass by running it along the top of these lily pads here. Because after big rain like that, these fish get fired up again. But these crappie don't seem to be really fired up over these swim baits here. Hope everybody's doing good, man. That is amazing. Yeah, no, I haven't caught a 9-foot marlin, that's for sure. That takes money to go out and catch 9-foot marlins in any way, shape, or form. You're putting gas in the tank. That's a good size. That's a good size. That's for sure. Where'd you catch that at? That's a fish of almost a fish of a lifetime. Fish of 10,000 casts, unless you're actually going out there and fishing purposely for marlin every time, but most folks don't have the cash for that. Whole different type of rig, setup, reel. Fishing rods aren't that expensive when it comes, but the reels can be expensive for that type of saltwater fishing. Any type of saltwater fishing, reels can be a little bit more expensive. And most often your rods are a lot cheaper, actually. It doesn't take as much. They may not charge you. That may charge you more, but the rods, fiberglass heavy rods or things like that, aren't very expensive. Big tuna blanks, head boat blanks, they're not that expensive type of rod builds, actually. I think that's why they put a lot of decorative wrap in saltwater builds, just to make them look better, more expensive. New Mexico, nice, man, nice. That's where you're from? Or was that a plane trip there to Mexico to do that? That would be cool. A lot of good kayak fishing in Mexico, you know. Load up on those boats, get you outside, just take you out there and put you on a kayak. Usually it's a Hobie Outback. Well, may have to switch gears here a little bit. May have to go to some other area. I'll hang out, pop a few jigs here and there and test the waters, but I mean, we have had a couple bites. Wasn't able to get them to commit, or I just didn't get that hook set. Had a couple bass earlier this morning, which is cool. But I really do want to catch some crappie right now. Really do. I gotta feed my dogs and save the hogs, but it's actually turned into a beautiful day. It looks beautiful back here. It's really gray in front of me, but back behind me it looks absolutely gorgeous. Oh my God, look at that. What the hell? That was right there. What was that? I think these bass are starting to come up on the surface a little bit. I'm seeing some signs. So I think that's what we're gonna switch gears to, and maybe have some fun and catch some bass. Hey, 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 what's happening? Hope everybody's doing good. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, 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 you. How are you, man? Hope everybody's good. Hope everybody's doing good. Hi, hello. We're out using the Mr. Crappie Thunder rod here, and just getting ready to switch some gears. Not much has really been happening. We're doing just a little stripping, flipping, and really not making it much. Oh, here we go. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Try that again. Okay, come on, come on. What's going on? Is that? Something down there seemed like it wanted a piece of that action. Bluegill down here are amazing. I do got a topwater. We are about to switch to some of that action right here, because right in front of me I just got the longest, most beautiful piece of open sandwiched between two avenues of lily pads. Let's go ahead and try that. I got my SJ833, so it's a spin jig. But boy, this thing will absolutely sail a topwater. And I got I think we got a whopper plopper back there. Yep, right here. Now these can be a little finicky at times. They'll catch a lot of the grass that's just here, there, and everywhere, and when they do, they just kind of render themselves unusable. But let's see what happens. We got a lot of space here. We can send this thing. Yeah, that's a 50-yard cast, easy. This is a great saltwater rod setup too. Real lightweight, weighs probably I don't know, probably weighs 4.5 ounces maybe, if not lighter. It's an SJ833, 6'11" rod. It's great for jerk baits. It's great for flukes. It's great for poppers. It's great for whopper ploppers. It's great for any type of, like, you know, the Revel poppers. I'm probably going to tie a fluke on here. We'll play with this for a little bit. And this is the good old whopper plopper. And you want to have that very mechanical plopping action happening. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time with this thing. And boy, when it goes, it goes. That's for sure. I have the American Tackle microwave guide set on this particular rod. You can always tell the American Tackle microwave guide by that little vortex design. And it just allows me to have much more accuracy and much more distance in each one of my casts. Sometimes they like these whopper toppers, or I keep saying whopper topper, whopper ploppers with a fast burn. Sometimes they like them pause, sometimes they like them slow. Just never can tell. But I'll throw them, you know, I'll throw the cast in between some of these lines that we have, these pinch point between some of these lily pads. Just run it right out in front of the edge of these pads. Most often that's where I find these bass hanging out, right at the edge. Toss this a few more times and we'll put a fluke on it. I haven't tossed a fluke in a while. sun is back. I'm slowly starting to dry out. This is nice. It feels good. This feels great. This feels great right now. Okay, last chance for romance. Right up through there. Bank this thing back around. Boom. Guys, I think I'm going to prep up. I'm going to get back to the house and I'm going to start doing some rod building. So if you're into doing some of that, check back with me here later on this evening and we'll get busy and I'll show you some of the fun rod builds that we're doing. Ooh, exciting, you know what I mean? I really appreciate everybody really doing, man. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for the support. It's Kayak Fishing. I wish everybody well. Hope your team wins today. I love you guys. Thank you so much. John Graves Kayak Fishing. Over now.